morning everybody. I hope you're all okay. We are back to learning at home and I'm very excited to see how hard you are going to be working because last time during the lockdown you blew me away and I'm really excited to see that you can keep that up. Okay, so I hope that everybody is okay and I hope that you've all managed to find all of your things that you're going to need. So before we move on to our learning, we're just going to go through what we need for our comprehension. So you will need your comprehension booklet and my video is for the year 2 booklet, the one with the submarine on the front. Okay, so if you've got this booklet, you're watching the right video. If you haven't got this booklet, you need to go back onto YouTube and look for Miss James because she has got the year 1 booklet, okay? So if you've got that, that's a brilliant start. You then need your whiteboard and your whiteboard pen. I've got mine here. And you also need your yellow exercise book that has got the lines in it and a pencil. So if you haven't already got those things, I'd like you to pause the video and go and find them and then we can continue. And if you've got everything and you're ready to go, good job. Okay, super. So before we begin, I've got a little question that I'd like you to think about. And you can talk to somebody at home to think about what the answer might be. Our learning is all about comprehension. So what is comprehension? Have a think about it. It's a very big word. Think carefully about what comprehension is. Think about what we've done before in comprehension and tell your grown-up at home or just tell yourself what you think it means. Okay, and on my next slide, I've put the answer. So comprehension is when we show an understanding of what we have read. So well done if you got it right because it's a very tricky word. So we are super readers in year 1, especially you. You read at home, you read in school, you do brilliant phonics and you do fantastic literacy. So that is all brilliant because you read and you write and you try very hard. So when we comprehend, we have to show that we understand what we have read, okay? And that's really important in our comprehension booklets because we've got lots of different types of texts. So in the lockdown, we looked at diaries, we looked at letters, postcards, fiction and non-fiction texts. We looked at extracts of stories, fact files, lots of different things. And we also had a poem on the last day. So we've read lots of different types of texts and we've also shown a really good understanding of what we have read. So we just need to keep that up now. So every day we'll have a different text that we've got to read and then we've got to answer some questions on. Okay, so well done if you got that right. And that's a little recap all about what comprehension is. So let's have a look at our activity for today. So before we go into our comprehension booklets, I've got some pictures here. And they are pictures of lots of different people. So what are these people doing? And what do you think their job is? And this might give you a clue as to what our text is all about today. So have a little look carefully at what pictures you can see. I can see there's a man there and he looks like he might be a bin man. And I can see somebody that works in Tesco, so maybe he works in a shop. And I can also see there that there is a doctor and there's also a vet and a fireman and a builder. And in the middle, there is a teacher. So I'd like you to have a little discussion with somebody at home now about all of these pictures. Tell your grown-up or your sibling what you can see, what you think the person's job is, and I'd like you to write them down on your whiteboard. Okay, so have a little chat about what these people might do for their job. Okay, and that's your little warm-up today to get your brains thinking and to get your voices going, okay? Now, today we are on page 11 in our work booklet. So if you would like to get your work booklet now, and we're looking at page 11. And the title of our page is When I Grow Up. which helps us now to understand why I asked you to have a little discussion about those pictures. Because when you grow up, you will have a job. And when you go to school, and as you get older, you will learn lots of new things that might help you in your future when you are a grown-up and you have to go to work. So, our text today is about two children, and you can see on my screen there is a little boy, and he is called Joshua, and there is a little girl, and she is called Faith. And there are two quite big paragraphs of information, okay? And what I want you to do is I would like you to look very carefully, which is why I have put two big eyes at the text, and I'd like you to have a go at reading it. So if you pause the video now, Year 1, and have a go at reading the information to your grown-up at home, okay? Take your time, make sure you don't rush, think about your phonics, think about those different sounds, think about your tricky words, okay? Then once you've had a go at reading the text by yourself, you can press play and I will read it with you. So off you go, read it now, and then listen back to me at the end, okay? Good job. Super. So let's have a look together. So like guided reading, I've got my copy, you should have your copy, and there's also the text on the screen. So let's start with Joshua. So you can use your reading finger now, and you can follow the text as I read it. Okay, so Joshua first. I want to be a doctor when I grow up. My mum is a doctor in a hospital. She is always very busy, but she enjoys her job. She says it's because she likes helping people. I like helping people too. My mum says I must work very hard at school if I want to be a doctor, so I always listen in lessons and do my best. So well done if you read the same as me, and well done if you said all of those words, because there are some big words in there. Okay, so let's stop for a second and let's think. What does Joshua want to be when he grows up? A doctor. Well done. So we know that Joshua wants to be a doctor when he grows up. And who is a doctor in Joshua's family? His mum. Brilliant. And it tells us a little bit about her job. It tells us that she is always very busy and that she enjoys her job because she likes to help people. And Joshua tells us in the text that he likes to help people too. Okay, and it also tells us that his mum tells him that he must work very hard at school if he wants to be a doctor, so he always listens and tries his best. Well done. So that's a really good example of reading a piece of text, reading it again, reading it slowly, and thinking about what we have read, because now I know all about Joshua. Now let's read about Faith. So, my dream is to be a police officer. A police officer came to my school to tell us about his job, and it sounded great. Police officers help people by catching criminals who have broken the law. They wear a special uniform and carry handcuffs in case they catch criminals. I want to catch criminals too. So Faith wants to be what when she grows up? What does Faith want to be? A police officer. Well done. So her dream is to be a police officer. And she told us in her text that a police officer came to her school and it sounded great. And then if we look in the text a little bit closer, police officers help people by catching criminals who have broken the law. So it tells us in our text today what a police officer does. And it says that they wear a special uniform and they carry handcuffs in case they catch criminals. And Faith says at the end, I want to catch criminals too. So we know already that Joshua wants to be a doctor and Faith wants to be a police officer. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I'd like you to get your pencil or a colouring pencil or a highlighter, whatever you've got at home, and I want you to read the text again, and I would like you to highlight or underline any words that you think are going to be important for our questions. Okay, so you might want to highlight the word doctor, hospital, helping, listen, dream, police officer, handcuffs, criminals. So pull out all of the important words from the text, and then when you have to read the questions, you will be able to go back to your text to find out where the answers might be. Okay, so do that now for me, and then we will move on. So our learning question today as well is, can I read and understand a piece of text to answer questions independently? Okay, and that means by yourself. So can I read and understand a piece of text? So we've read it already. Now we need to show we have understood what we have read. So let's go to my next page, and we're going to look at question 3 together. So on your page now in your booklet, you will see we have got 1, 2, 3 questions to answer. So I'm going to go through question 3, and it says, would you prefer to be a doctor or a police officer, and why? So you've got to think about which job you would prefer. So would you prefer to be a doctor or a police officer? Now the word prefer means which job do you think you would like the best? Which one do you think you would enjoy more? Okay, so use the text to help you think of a reason, because in the text it tells us about the jobs. It tells us that a doctor works in a hospital, and it tells us that doctors help people and they are very busy. So you might think you might like to be a doctor because you like to be busy. And it also tells us that a police officer helps to catch criminals. So if you like the idea of doing that, you might prefer to be a police officer. So you're going to need your whiteboard now and your whiteboard pen, and you need to practice your answer. Now I've already written the start of my answer, and I've written it like this, okay? So hopefully you can see this, and it says, I would prefer to be a doctor because. So I've used the question at the start of my answer, and that's really important, because if you write in your comprehension booklet, doctor, because I like to help people, that's not a full sentence. So you need to make sure you've got full sentences. So always use the words from your question to help you answer it, okay? I would prefer to be a doctor because, now I've got to think of my reason. Now I have run out of space on my whiteboard. So you are probably going to run out of space too. So use your yellow lined book to write your answer, okay? So you need to tell me which job you would prefer and why. So the word why means you've got to give a reason. So think carefully about what the reason could be and make sure it makes sense. And use the text to help you think of a reason, okay? So you've also got 2 other questions. Question 1, you've got a why question. Why does Joshua want to be a doctor? And you've got to tick the right answer. So you've got 4 choices for question 1, and you've got to tick the right one. So you need to read the text carefully and tick the right answer. And for question 2, how do police officers help people? So how? You've got a how question. So first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to think about who wanted to be the police officer. Was it Joshua or was it Faith? It was Faith. Well done. So you know that your answer is going to be in the box by Faith. So how do police officers help people? And then you need to write your answer in a full sentence, okay? Remember, if you haven't got enough room on your whiteboard, use your lined paper in your yellow exercise book, okay? And then take a photograph and email it to me at the Year 1 email address. Now, that's not the end, because I know you like a challenge. So my challenge is, what do you want to be when you grow up and why? So I would love to know what you want to do for your job when you grow up and why. So think about your reasons why you would prefer to be a doctor or a police officer, and think about your answer as to why you want to be what you want to be when you grow up, okay? Now, when I was little, when I was your age, I knew I wanted to be a teacher because I wanted to work with children and I wanted to teach them lots of new things. And I have achieved that. I am a teacher and I'm teaching children, and hopefully I'm helping you learn lots of new things. So think about your reason why as well, Year 1, okay? So lots to be getting on with today. I can't wait to see your work. Make sure you send me lots of photographs of all your activities. Make sure you challenge yourself. Think about your sentences, think about your handwriting, okay? And you can also send me a little video if you like, and I can give you a mention in my video tomorrow or the day after, okay? So well done. Off you go now to enjoy your comprehension learning, and I will see you tomorrow for Wednesday's comprehension. Okay, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.